All right, welcome back. This is episode number 2, video blog number 2. I'm going to stop numbering them now because I'm going to forget, and then it'll be like number 373, and no one will have any idea. I could just say 373 for the rest of my life, and you'd probably believe me. So this is number 2, but probably the last time I'm going to talk about the number of times we've done this. I'm sipping on a Tim Hortons. That is a Canadian cup of coffee there. If you haven't had one of those, you need to have one. All of my Canadian friends will agree that that is some of the best coffee in the world. Free plug there, Timmy's. He was a hockey player, by the way. Imagine that. Hockey player then creates a cup of coffee that is a national symbol for Canada. This is almost as significant as the Maple Leaf. How I got off on that, I'm not even going to try and explain. So on episode 2, we need to talk a little bit about competition in this industry. So here's the thing. Lots of people think competition, oh, that sucks. As a business owner, it's really hard because we'll get invited to go to a job somewhere. Somebody will say, I got this work to do, we're changing our furnace, we're putting an air conditioner, we're building a house, whatever the case is. And then what ends up happening is contractor number 1 comes in there and he's got some idea what he's going to do, and he's got this list. And if you notice that everybody has the same list, the list of all the things that they're going to do. We're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this. We're the most professional, we're the most complete, and then it's XYZ dollars. It's $1,000, okay? Then contractor number 2 comes in, and it's a little bit of the same thing, kind of almost identical, and his price is $814. And then contractor number 3 comes in, and he's $1,400, and they all look the same, except there's just this bottom line price that's the difference. And the point is, I don't even care that there's 3 different prices, because that's normal. That's always going to happen in the world of business, and that actually is healthy competition that keeps contractors honest. That's awesome. The trouble that I have is that this job in 1980 sold for $1,000. That's the trouble that I have. Then the crash of the 80s happened, and the trades just plummeted our prices. And then we stayed there. We were just like, hey, let's hang out in $45 an hour land for 30 years. That'll be fun. That'll be easy to attract people into our industry. It's absolutely ridiculous. And so now here we are, 30 years later, and we're still charging that same ridiculously low rate. And you can't survive. You can't run a profitable, successful, long-term, let's care about our customers kind of business if you can't charge the prices that you need to charge. It's absolutely insane. Here's what I would suggest. If all of our contractors even just stayed with inflation, then we would now all of a sudden, there'd still be healthy competition, but instead of the basement price being $800, which it was in 1980, now the basement price would be $1,500 or $2,000, because that's the difference in price that it is from when it was back then to what it is. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Competition is healthy. I love competition. I think it's good for industry, and it makes me better. I have to constantly evaluate what are my other competitors doing, how's this all going to look, and as a result of that, it makes my business better, having that kind of competition. What saddens me is that we have stooped to such an incredibly low level in this industry. There's no possible way that these contractors who are doing this low-ball, bottom-of-the-line pricing can ever possibly be long-term successes. They're driving 30-year-old worn-out trucks, the same ones that they had back in the 80s. They're not paying their guys much. They're laying them off every time there's a small slow time because they have to. There's no cushion, there's no margin in the business. Let's change this. Let's begin to change margin. And what that is, starting number 1, let's raise the bar of the price. We have to stay with inflation. Now we hit another recession. Okay, so this 2009 gig that just took place has tanked a ton of contractors. Couldn't survive it. Couldn't survive 1 year of bad economy. Now, I know that sounds like, well, of course, lots of things, the Wall Street died, and there's lots, yes, I get that. I understand all of that stuff. But a well-run contracting business, here's the thing, I don't care if your toilet breaks today or breaks tomorrow. If it doesn't, your toilet doesn't care if there's a recession. Your furnace doesn't care if it's 2009 or 2005. If it's gonna break, it's gonna break. So if we had done our jobs well, we would have some cushion in this industry. We'd be able to survive this downturn. My fear is we've just had a downturn and we're going to revert back another 30 years. And we're going to drop our prices back to 1980 and we're going to sit here for another 30 years. You think it's hard to get a qualified tradesperson into your house today? Keep on paying that lowball guy. Keep on giving him those rock bottom prices and bragging to your friends that you got that job for nothing. Keep on doing that. And pretty soon you're not going to find a plumber to come do that work in your house. Listen, I'm serious. This industry needs help. And I'm here to help give this industry some insight, some vision into what's going on. Now, 30 years from now, there will be a difference.